Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to We Wish You Well. I can't believe it's already the end of March. But it is opening day, so as all of us are Southern California people, go Padres. I hope that everybody on this group is a Padre fan. I see that. I see that, Chris. He's gone already.
I gotta go.
Oh man. Who do you root for?
I don't know more in baseball. Well,
Oh,
Baltimore Orioles is still my baseball team, even though I know nothing about them.
okay. Right on. Good to know. Um, as you can see, you have the Three Musketeers, as usual, myself, Danny Summer, Miss Ruby Ramos, and Mr. Gordon Chavez. We have wonderful Mr. Christopher Parks here joining us today. He is a financial coach, but I heard that you have a background in radio. So, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit about yourself so that people can get to know you, we can get to know you better, and kind of understand what you are here to help us learn today.
Okay, well, before we go radio, we can go back to the beginning. If that's the
Okay.
right with y'all. I have a background in jumping in dumpsters. That's where it all started. Not a joke. I'm a dumpster. I used to, well, no, I still collect and recycle to this, but it
Okay.
all started when I was about 14 years old. I started school a year early, so all my friends were older than me and they all had jobs, and I couldn't get one. So the only way I knew to raise money was dive into dumpsters to get cans and just cans back in those days.
Wow.
Then I got a newspaper route and still dumpster dive. So always entrepreneur. So anyway, and then
Scratch.
that radio bit was that came along because of my entertainment background. Early on, I was a dancer in the Bay Area, had dance groups, and I managed dance groups who effectively we put a few guys into the industry of dancing in videos that you've seen in many music videos and movies and with some of the top artists in the world today.
Awesome.
Uh,
Cool.
but with the music industry, I wasn't a big fan of the dark side of it. So I stepped back to mentor a younger group which now are still good friends of mine, and start mentoring them as far as business. And that's where it all began with me and helping people in business.
Okay.
Uh, and from there was one business after another, one person after another, then getting a career and always trying to improve myself and improve those around me financially, no matter what we were doing. In the radio bit, that was my son getting into entertainment and me not wanting him to go through what I went through when I was doing entertainment. So meddling in his business. So we try to play them on or get them played on the radio, and everybody was like, "Well, you need an advertising budget, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000." I'm like, "Well, what's that for?" "Oh, so we could play your song." That's our advertising budget. Well, when will the song play? Well, we don't know. Like, forget it. So we started our own internet radio station. This is in 2012. Was it
Okay.
12? 10. 10 or 12. I don't know, one of them two. It's been a while. No, it was 10 because it's 14 years now. Yeah, 2010, which internet radio was very young at the time. And just a bunch of DJs and myself being new to the city, met a bunch of DJs, pulled them together, and we started our own internet radio station. With
Awesome.
a lot of artists have come through, especially out of San Diego area, that have gone on to do bigger and better things. So, and that's what it's all about, trying to give people that stepping stone to pursue what they want to pursue, not necessarily what I want them to pursue.
Right. Being inspired. Keeping them inspired.
Inspiration. Speaking of inspired, DJ Inspired was one of our DJs. No. Look her up. She's pretty awesome.
Will do. And Gordon have been friends for a while, I hear. And you guys met in that DJ space.
And
So that's cool.
I I own the radio station per se. I
Oh.
started. Uh, Most people there thought I was the janitor at first. So I'm not the guy that wants to be in the front. I was the guy that was always
Mm.
picking up. I was painting, pulling wires, hooking up equipment, saying hi and leaving. So they all thought I was just the guy that worked in the building. Until
Yeah.
That's just the maintenance guy right there.
Exactly. People start falling off and they were like, why is the maintenance guy the only guy here? And they realize, oh, that's the guy that's been funding this whole project. And then
Yeah.
a lot of us became friends and helped others that left, help them do what they wanted to do and venture off to what they want to do and help them be successful. So, in my opinion, it was all a success.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you said, careers have been launched off of this, and businesses have been born from the skills that were learned through all of this. So yeah, definitely. It's big success.
So now my son and nephew still do it though. They teach the high school students at Oceanside High and El Camino High. They have they use our platform to teach them audio visual now. So they shoot music videos, movies, commercials. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Congratulations. So as you know, we're life agents. So we like to educate people about life insurance and how, to utilize that, whether it be to build wealth or protect your family. You're a financial coach. I guess that's more so based around habits, strategy, and budgeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Mainly habits, because a lot of people look at wealth as in the material items that you can gain.
Right.
I look at wealth as what time do I want to wake up in the morning and get out of bed and do what I want to do. Has nothing to do with money.
Right.
You know,
Right.
There you go.
money is time. So just trying to get that concept into people's heads.
Right.
You know,
I like that. Yeah.
what's
Time
your time?
freedom.
Right. How much of your time are you willing to trade for a dollar?
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Makes sense. Well, I know that we have some questions for you just based on financial coaching, how to achieve financial freedom, that how much how much time do you want to spend to make a dollar? I'd rather be spending more time with my family and my goats, but I'm still putting in time to be able, for that dollar. So I know that we've got some questions for you based on the fact that you've been a financial coach for 20 years. I'm sure that we could gain a lot of helpful information as to, what steps to take, how to elevate our money mindset, and get to, that place financially, where we would prefer to be, maybe as if we're not necessarily where we want to be right now, or farther than that, how to achieve those goals that we set. So I have a question for you. What does I let's see. What kind of money habits do people have that they don't realize they're working against them?
Spending? No. Yeah.
Mm.
People have
Not
a habit of just spending, trying to achieve things without the money to pay for them. Like my kids, if you ask all my kids when they were young, they'd tell you that I was cheap.
Mm.
Now that they're older and parents, now they think I was a wise guru. So it's all about perception.
right.
Mm.
I bought a car, 1989 car, 1988, and I drove it till 2013.
Mm.
And I looked at it as how much how much money has this car made me since I bought it?
Mm.
Everybody else looked at it as, and I bought the cheapest car on the lot, but of course everybody wanted it because stereo system is more expensive than the car. But anyway, that's a
Mm.
story. That was me in my young days,
Yeah.
gather material things,
Mm-hmm.
make people look at you, and even though you didn't want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew me for my car stereo system.
Mm.
Answer that. But it was like later on as I started learning, it's like, well, don't sell the car. That's how you make it.
Till you take the stereo out.
Well, that got stolen enough. It didn't. Yeah, some people knew about the stereo. If they seen the car, they broke the window, stole the stereo.
Oh
It
man.
was an ongoing saga. So the insurance company hated me. It's like, Jesus, here you go again. So
Why do you think that is that people make purchases to make people think that they're wealthy, but in reality, they got like $5 in their bank account? Like, what is like, why is it such a big thing to look rich and make yourself broke? But like, at the end of the day, you're stressing out about maybe how you're going to pay your bills because you wanted to buy something that was unnecessary. Like, why is that like such a status quo to look a certain way?
That is the $1 million question. And I just take it as us being inundated every day, all day. Now with social media, it's even worse of,
Yeah.
of images like that, and everybody wants to achieve those images, but
Right.
they don't understand the work that goes in to get there. Because anybody that plays basketball, you ask them who do they want to be, depending on what era it is. It's either Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Steph Curry. Okay, well, how many times have you shot a free throw today? Oh, I shot maybe 100. Well, no, you're like 10,000 free throws short. Any
Yeah.
one of those guys, you got to go get to work. So we all want that instant gratification. So we'll
Yeah.
pretend to be rich and, go that route.
Hmm.
Well, and Ocho Cinco came out recently and said all those gold chains he had during his football career were fake. So
Oh, wow.
all the kids were trying to achieve what he had, but what he had was fake.
They're trying to look like him.
Right.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Mm,
I wish he would have said that during the time it was happening.
Right.
yeah. Yeah, Ruby and Danny are probably too young, but I remember Mr. T. He'd have like
I
all
remember Mr. T.
you remember Mr. T? He had
Yeah.
like chains and top of chains on top of chains. Yeah, like he could even look down because it was all blocking him. What kind of shoes you wearing? I don't know.
I put them on for me. They're comfortable. No.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I recently saw a video of Mr. T, and it was an old video, but I saw it, and this lady was interviewing him, and she was asking him, why do you wear all these chains, all this gold, and all of that, and are you trying to create a perception of material wealth or whatever? And he was like, no, he was like, these chains represent everything that I've been through to get to where I am. He said, but if you look at my shoes, because his shoes were kind of beat up, he's like, but if you look at my shoes are old and beat up, but they're comfortable and they're like my roots. They represent where I came from. And that lady couldn't respond after that. She didn't know what to say after that. But it was interesting that, if you saw Mr. T, back in the 80s and 90s, you would probably think your first thought would probably be like, he's probably a real materialistic person, right? But he had a great response to that question.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too. And I think he's had mentioned something that his dad and his brother had also worn those shoes. So
That's right. That's right.
and it like keeps him humble, like
Yeah.
remind. Yeah. So it was, and the lady's face at the end, I was cracking up.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, oh, he got her. He got her. But well, thank you for that. And just to add one thing to the end of what you said with people wanting to, look a certain way. I think that a lot of it has to do with like, and this is a side thing, but you know, people's opinions. Like we're so worried about what people think about us, and like it just shouldn't be that like at all.
Validation.
Yeah. No. So thank you for that. Ruby, do you have any questions for Mr. Parks?
Yeah, I have a question. Let's see, I have it right here. Okay, so which do you think is more important? Financial education or how much a person earns per year?
Financial education. I have more rich broke clients than I have broke rich clients, which means the high money earners are more broke than the people that make less money.
Okay.
Less money they make, it's easier to I don't like calling broke or poor people. The less money you have, you kind of manage your money more because you don't know where that next meal's coming from. And the rich people, they kind of throw it around because they know they got that paycheck coming in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a thing I used to call the minimum wage millionaire before inflation hit again. I used to tell people I can take a person that makes minimum wage and make them a millionaire. I'm not going to give you a time frame, but I can do it if you follow these steps. So it's like I said, it's just steps and being consistent.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, so literally kind of like it doesn't really matter how much a person is making. If they lack financial education, then they're still, yeah,
They will be broke.
yeah.
Look at all, if you go back and look at the lottery winners, they can come into millions of dollars and they're
Yeah.
broke in a couple of years.
Mhm.
Look at all the sports figures we have out there that go from the ghettos or wherever to multi-millionaires to broke, working in,
Mm-hmm.
because of lack of understanding on how to manage their money. And you give a person $1 million, if they just put it in the bank, they can live off it the rest of their life as long as they don't need expensive things. You can put a roof,
Mm-hmm.
food in your belly and clothes on your back with $1 million is gaining that small interest and move it around to the higher interest bank accounts.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4%, 4% of a million. Where does that get you? It's not a bad lifestyle, but it ain't great either. You
Mm.
might have to move to Mississippi, but
Mm.
you still live. No.
And,
North
and
Dakota.
you won't need a job either.
Right.
As you, yeah.
Just
Yeah. It's more about what you do with the money than how much you have.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
cool.
I was gonna piggyback off of that, but I just drew a blank, so I'll take a step back.
You smoking what I'm smoking? No. I don't smoke. I don't smoke for the record.
Oh, oh, I was gonna say, I wish I was in Oceanside still. You seem like a fun guy to hang out with. All of us together.
I'm at that age. I don't care no more about what I say. So it's kind of it's bad news. And sometimes the mouth shoots out, and then the brain's like, "What'd you say that for?" Like, I don't know why you did that. So
Oh,
I'm known for that. It's like, man, my kids are like, "Dad, shut up." Why? My
why?
wife didn't.
People don't appreciate honesty anymore these days.
But it's humor honesty. I
Yeah.
try not to offend people by telling them they're crazy, but telling them that they're crazy.
They're crazy anyway.
Right, so it's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Try
All
to
right.
keep
Oh,
what else you got?
what you got?
I got a question for you. So we were talking about the topic of financial freedom planning. And it sounds fancy, right? You put those two words together, financial freedom, and it's almost even trendy online and all of that. But like if you think of financial freedom, I think most people probably think, that means you got to make millions of dollars and then you're free. Or that means that you win the lottery and then you're free, or earn inheritance, but I mean, if you really think about it, freedom is kind of like what you just described. If you came into a bunch of money for whatever reason and you put it in a place that generates interest, you can be free even though you're not, say, a billionaire, right? So I'm curious, Chris, like what does financial freedom planning mean to you? How do you describe that?
Financial planning, freedom. Wow, that's a good one. So basically, what I do is say, okay, what if you had all the money that you needed?
Mm.
5, what would you be doing? And that's how I pose that question to myself. So it was like, well, I would be helping as many people as I can to get educated about their finances.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's my financial freedom. So am I financially free now? Yes. Do I have billions of dollars rolling out the banks? No.
Mm,
Need a mansion? No. So basically, financial freedom is as long as your standard of living can be achieved without having to go to work. Now,
Mhm.
don't get financial free and debt free confused. They're two different things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Be financially free and still have debts.
Hmm.
What you have coming in covers your debts as well.
Hmm.
So there's two things that I kind of teach people: debt freedom and financial freedom. And if you want them both, they can be achieved. Let's set a date and a target when we start working on it.
Mm. Yeah, I like what you said regarding the job, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the average income in the U.S., for example, and it dramatically changes depending on what state you're in, but average, we'll say maybe for a family, maybe 60, $70,000 a year, maybe depending on what part of the country you live in. So if you came to somebody like you just said and said, okay, it costs you $70,000 to cover your expenses and live, right? If you were able to get that from some source without having to work for it 8 hours a day every day, would you go back to work or would you do something else with your time?
Mhm.
And I think it's a little bit of a spin on how to think about income because I don't necessarily know any, but if you think of like trust fund babies, their parents did something, right, to create this trust for them. This trust is now paying their bills and they don't have to have a job. And not all of them maybe spend their time wisely, but if they knew the value of what they had in that I guess you could call it passive income from some funding source that your parents created, then they probably spend their time just helping other people, probably. And
Right.
so then you think about it, part of it has to do with how hard somebody had to work for what they have,
All right. Definitely.
you know?
People, I mean, a lot of the rich people, even like Trump, he said his kids, they're not getting handed money to them. They got
Mm,
a lot of the rich guys say, no, you got to go to work and earn it. It's here, but I'm going to match what you do. So you want
mm,
10 billion? Well, you got to make 10 billion. And that's kind of why I told my kids that I don't have anything. So I'll match. I tell them all the time, I'll match what you have. I mean, that's the thing I put in my kids. It was look, when they were 10 years old, I will match you dollar for what you save to buy a car up until your 18th birthday.
nice.
People are like, why 18? Because at 18, some magic switch goes off and you kids think you're grown and you won't listen to nothing I say anyway. So that's it.
Mm,
I only had to do that once out of 5 kids.
nice.
4 kids were like, yeah, right. The last one, Dad, I got this much money. God dog
Right?
it. So and my grandkids, I tell them 50 cent on the dollar, and they ask me, well, how come it ain't a dollar for a dollar like my parents? Well, see, I didn't make the choice to have you. I'm not 100% funding you.
There you go.
So
Ask your parents to put in the extra 50 cents.
There you go.
Then we'll match you $1.
you
Get
get
some negotiating skills going.
you can get your parents to give you an extra 50 cent, or you can get them to give you a dollar, and now you got $1.50 for every dollar. Hey, choice is yours. But I tell you,
Mm,
getting from me is that other 50 cent.
hmm.
What I have 16 grandkids now? Yeah.
That can
16?
get expensive really quick.
Grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you took
No
me.
wonder you said you running the grandbaby daycare.
Yeah, they cycle through here. No.
If
And
I
then
ever have kids, I'll send them your way.
I think what 10 or 11 of them live within 5 miles. The rest of them live in North Carolina.
Awesome.
Mm,
That's awesome.
There's-
You were speaking on the topic of like you set a time frame for people to achieve their goal, like however long that may be. So what are some basic strategies based on what you said that people can implement to help them start to plan for financial freedom?
like I was okay, I was trying to put this number in my head earlier, but I use a method. I'd say there's only 6 places to where our money goes. Period. We have our necessities, we got to put into retirement, education, fund, savings, And I forget the other one. There's one more. But it comes. In fact, I pull up on my sheet and I'll tell you exactly what it is. That's what I use for people. It's like, hey, you got 6 places to put your money, and whatever you want to call it, you call it. I don't care. If you're an alcoholic and you call alcohol a necessity, then that's going to go into your necessity column. But once we define it, we're going to define it, and that's what you're going to live by.
Mm.
Most people, including you and myself, probably spend over 50% of our money on necessities, on what we deem necessities.
Mhm.
My opinion is 50% should be the worst we should be doing with our necessities, because we all like to have fun. So we'd rather spend 50% on having fun than necessities. But when you got 6 places, necessity, giving, retirement, fund, education, and savings, you only got 100% of money. So you can't borrow money to make any of them work. So what I do is I split them up 10% to the bottom 5 categories, 50% to necessities. Every dime or penny you find or given or earn goes into that formula.
Okay.
Savings is for you just put something on that list, a computer, a car, going out to dinner, concert tickets. That's your savings. Your fund is your money that you just go and blow whenever you want to blow it. But when that money's gone out of that category, you can't borrow it from another category to make up for it. You have to do without. When my kids were little, my boys, not my girls, I used to give them allowance and made them split up their money like this and made them put money in the bank. So here's your 10% for fun out of $5 is 50 cents a week. Ain't a whole lot, so they got to save it before they go to the movies or whatever. So with adults, I do the same thing. I want to know where you're at today. So fill this out. Just put down what you spend, housing's necessities, transportation, communication, food, clothing. Those are your necessities. And like I said, and if you smoke weed all the time, you tell me you can't live without weed, that's no longer fun. That's a necessity.
Mm.
Or you can put it in fun, but that's going to take away from you going out to eat, taking your spouse out, or whatever. So I start making people think before they spend their money. You look at it every day, you see how much money you have in your different accounts. Can you afford to do that today without borrowing any money? And it works. The program just works. It's not me, it's you training your mind on where and how to spend your money. Every time you go to buy, you want to buy that candy bar. Is that necessity, is that savings, or is that fun? I know it ain't. I know it ain't retirement. So you got to figure out what category you're gonna take it from, and you take it. And once you spend it, don't worry about it. Most people spend money and then they stress about it. Oh my God, I gotta pay this bill. I gotta pay that bill. But if you knew you had money in the bank for necessities, you wouldn't stress about it.
Right.
Every month you need so much. So, and it's trying to remove that stigma of stressing about money. It's just money. It's just a tool. It's nothing more. You put value to money, you're gonna stress.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if your bill collector knocks on the door, you don't have money, guess what? I can't help you. Wait till I don't know if you guys are definitely too young for Popeye, right? And Wimpy.
What?
Yes,
Popeye.
Popeye, the sailor. You know nothing
I
about that.
remember Popeye.
Where he says, "I'll be gladly to pay you on Tuesday."
Oh.
for a hamburger today.
For him, that's what it comes down to. It's like, hey, if I ain't got it, you can't get it.
Yeah, where are you gonna get it from?
And you can't stress about it. We hear stories about people killing themselves because they're in debt. Like for what? The debt's still there, owed to somebody. They're going to come after your family next, or at least try to. And if they don't know how to handle it, the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Especially if they taught that mindset around money to the kids and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with my kids, when I used to tell them to do this, they tell me now, all I heard, so I got to try to rephrase how I say it is, don't spend money. but I never told them not to spend money.
Yeah.
Them be mindful of where you spend your money. But they all
Mm.
heard don't spend money. It's just like when you hear the word diet. I'm not no diet. That means I can't eat cake. I can't eat candy bars.
Mm.
On a diet. So it's the same thing as how you say it. So just change your eating habits.
Mm.
Not going.
What if you're on a cake and candy bar diet? Then you can't eat broccoli or salad or, you know.
I was in my best health when I ate cake and candy all the time. I don't care what anybody says. I was slim because I had no nutrition in my body.
And you were definitely happier.
Definitely, that was my early 20s. I didn't food. What's food? Oatmeal was the closest thing I had to food every day, and barbecue on the weekends with the boys and beer. Barbecue and beer on the weekends. I was healthy.
Dang. You're
Priority.
I wish I was as skinny as a rail, but boy, I thought I was like Hulk Hogan or somebody, running around real skinny.
Oh,
It sounds like that plan, like you said, it forces people to be mindful and intentional. And
Right.
when they spend whatever, the money has to come from one of these buckets per se.
Right.
so
And then you also said you only have 100% of your money. And so my first thought was like, yeah, well, anybody only has 100%. However, there's a lot of people that try to get 110, 120, 130 by taking on debt. They're like, I make
Mhm.
only this much. And if I make this much, that means that I can only buy this much. But what if I want something that's out here? Well, it's easy. You get finance, you get a credit card, you get a loan, and then they end up in debt. Whereas if they just stay within their means or they create a savings plan and a little delayed gratification and they got to wait 10 months and save up to get that thing that they want, at least they're staying within their means versus financing some stuff.
Because I don't believe in budgets personally.
Mm.
You get 100% of your money. You got to figure out where that 100% goes, and it goes. That's it. But
Mm.
people try to equate that to each dollar. And the reason I don't believe in budgets is let's say you make $1,000 a week, and this week you make 1,500, and you're budgeted for 900. Now you got 600 extra dollars. What are you doing with it?
Mm.
You have you have no plan for it because it's not
Going to Disneyland.
like I said, you have no plan. It's not your budget, so it's gone. Just as quick as you got it, it's going to go out the window. But if you have it in a plan, you know what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's pretty much just prioritizing at that point,
Yep.
Mm.
figuring
Mhm.
out necessities versus unnecessary things, based on what you're trying to achieve. So thinking about
Yeah.
it. I'm not going to think about it as a budget anymore either.
Yeah.
There you go.
Budget is like that diet word. Budget. I ain't budgeting. Street people. I'm spending my money.
Oh, thank you.
What? Of course, you can spend it wherever you choose to. And I'm not that coach that sit here and tell you you're wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what you spend your money on, it ain't wrong. It's just a bad decision.
Right.
There's wrong things about money. They're either good decision or bad decisions.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Your goal, not my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. They either help you get to your goal or they don't.
Right. My goal is for everybody to have $100 million in the bank and we all sit around and do nothing.
Hmm.
But of course, the world won't spin anymore because nobody's out there working. So there you go.
Thank
you.
you.
Well, speaking about like unnecessary stuff and where to prioritize our stuff. So for example, I know you said you're talking about how everybody has a different goal and you're not going to be the person that tells them pretty much what to do or how to spend their money. But what are some of the most common like unnecessary purchases that if a financial planner was adjusted would allow people to save or invest?
A lot of it, for a lot of my clients, you're gonna think I'm crazy. It's convenience store purchases.
Hmm.
A lot of my clients buy things at the gas station that are overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
I say, okay, so you're going in there every day, you're buying a pack of Hosted donuts on the way to work and a cup of coffee. How much is that pack of donuts? $1.35, $1.50. I don't know. I don't shop in convenience stores. So I'm gonna say $1.50. I don't even go in the store. So if that's $1.50, but you can go buy a case of 12 for $8, why don't you go buy the case at the other store for $8 and take a pack with you to work? And that's the little things I look at.
Okay.
Try to
Yeah.
change the habits on where you spend your money. So now, if I just saved you $5 that week, now what are we doing with it?
Mhm.
Last week you were buying donuts, but this week we're going to put in a savings account. So now we're going to take that $5 and make you 1 penny a month. It don't sound like much, but that was $5, 1 penny. We're heading in the other direction.
There you go.
Yes. And I mean, trust me, I get in people's business, and they're like, I strip you down bare, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To businesses, oh, you want to do your business? I need all your bank account information. I'll pull 3 years back and go through the list. What's this company? Why do we pay this company this much? And they got to answer to all this. And then they got to convince themselves that it was a good purchase after I beat them up.
Hmm.
It's about beating you up to make. Okay, here's an example. My son the other day, he's an audio engineer, right? So someone broke his headphones. He came over, told me, yeah, I bought some new headphones. They cost $500. They do this, they do that. And he's talking, I'm not saying a word. He talks for a good 15 minutes. He hadn't tried them out. They came in, he went to the studio the other day and they do, what is it called? They can transition from a car to a studio to a concert hall all in the headphones.
Hmm.
So he goes and tries them out that night and he comes back next day. Man, these headphones are great. I said, so after the 15, 20 minutes of trying to convince yourself that it was a good purchase, you use them and now you think it's a good purchase, right? So, yeah. So, well, how much money have you made with them?
Mm.
That's the whole purpose of buying them. So now, how many times you going to use them to make the money back to pay for them?
Mhm.
And of course, he tells me, why does everything got to be a lesson? Because that's what life's about. So, their headphones are great, but now you got to make money with because that's your job.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that's what it comes down to. Just changing habits and making sure you're doing what you feel is best for yourself.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you questions to make you double think yourself, to double check stuff. So, and that's all coaches always do. If you're teaching somebody how to run and they think this is the best position to run in, and you tell them to run like this, they pick up a little more speed. They're double guessing themselves. Like, well, should I do what he said or do what I'm used to?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Nice.
Challenge them to get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Analyze the situation appropriately.
I also used to teach people before how to pay off their mortgage faster, and I quit doing it because I didn't know their habits.
Hmm.
Come in, I'd be like, Danny, I got a way you can pay off your mortgage faster without even changing your lifestyle. We go into the program, we get into it 6 months, you saved all this money, we meet up again. Man, I just bought a Range Rover. I'm like, what? And this is a true story, just not with you.
I was like, I did.
So much debt that they found this extra money that they could afford a Range Rover. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong. And that's when I started looking at, we got to look at the whole picture and dial you in to your money habits first. And I'm not saying wrong with them buying a Range Rover. What was wrong was they still had to work to pay for it.
Hmm.
It wasn't going to take care of itself, so. And I tell people, hey, go buy anything that's going to pay you back. And it's, your job is what you trade your time for to make that money. As much as that money you can, you put it to work, which makes you another employee. Like I buy stocks and I tell I always tell people at work, every one of my shares is an employee.
Mm,
My stock pays me 95 cents a share once a quarter. Well, I got 8,000 shares, so I got 8,000 employees. So
Gotcha.
we could round it up to $1. That would be $8,000 a quarter right now, which is about what, $32,000 a year.
mm,
How does that help you?
Right.
right.
I mean, I got all kinds of tricks. Trust me, it's like 401k plans. I can help you manipulate those. I worked for 30 years. I put in over $200,000 into my 401k, but the day I retired, I spent all of it except $2,000, which means I pulled out all of it except $2,000. And I used that to build the radio station.
Mm,
I pulled it and paid today's taxes on it, built the radio station that's still growing, but I still retired with a healthy 401k.
Yeah.
mm,
So, you know, there's so many facets to money, man. You got to know your tax bracket. You got to know where you fall in your taxes. Because what we were told, probably all of us, hey, you got to put money in your 401k pre-tax, because when you retire, you're going to pay less taxes on that money.
Hmm.
Is that what you were told?
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's the problem with that scenario. They change the tax laws often.
Mm,
So if we retire and they change the tax laws and they lower the limit for us to pay higher taxes, that now becomes a lie.
mm,
Right.
And right now, for everyone out there that has a 401k that can pull their money out between this year and next year, you need to pull out as much as you can up to the tax bracket that you're comfortable with. Because in 2026, the bracket's going to change. It's probably going to revert back to something horrible. Because the country is spending more money than it's bringing in, and the country only makes money on taxes.
mm.
Right.
We don't understand that enough. That's
Yeah.
it. So I've been screaming from the top of buildings, get your money out, get your money out. And sad thing is, I can show you, I got spreadsheets for this kind of stuff. I have nothing to do. I make spreadsheets and it's like, hey, this is the tax bracket for a married person. This is what you're allowed to pull out. And it's just crazy. Let me see if I can share this. Can I share?
You should be able to, yeah.
I'll try to trim it down some if I
Hmm.
can. There's more information on here than you need to see. No.
I want it all. I want
Right.
everything.
I know, right?
I'm just gonna have to share it. Just my technical skills aren't good enough. So anyway, this is this side of the chart. Oh, maybe I can squeeze it in now. I don't know. Don't look at all this crap over here. I gotta figure. Oh, I know how to do it. There we go. There we go. Much better. All righty. This here is a 2024 tax table for federal up top, state on the bottom, California only, for married couple. So you got to understand how the tax table works. People say I pay 32% on my taxes federally. Like, no, you don't. It's impossible. Even if you made $487,000, you're not paying 32% on your taxes. You're going to pay 32% on taxes between 383 and 487.
Yeah.
Which as a total does not equal 32%.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand where you fit in the tax table. And if you don't want to pay higher than 24%, you got to get your taxable income, not your gross, below this number, below 383,000.
Mm, mhm.
A lot of people think that's their gross. So now, in order to do that, if you have a job, let's say you have a job, your spouse works, you have investments, and you push up to 383, and you haven't been putting any money in your 401k. Well, now you put money in your 401k to lower your taxable income.
Mm.
Gotcha.
Prior to that, you need to max out your Roth.
Mm. Yep.
And if your 401k don't match, why are you putting anything in it anyway? Go get a regular IRA.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you got to know all these different tools and how they best suit. And that's why I say every person's different.
Mhm.
Some people have 401ks that don't match. So
Yeah.
putting money into this jacked up plan because they don't allow you to buy stocks. They're all mutual funds. Mutual funds are a small percentage of the stock market. 90% of them don't pay any kind of dividends, so why bother?
Mhm.
And the stuff like that I try to educate people on. And I could really use some education on how to get on and off these screens, and I can't figure out how to get after this stuff.
That's another episode.
Yes.
Well, when is that going to take place so I can learn something? So, okay, I can close. Actually, my friend told me how to do it. I got to remember. Is this?
There's a stop sharing button in there
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
there it is. Okay, there it goes. Yes.
There you go. See,
You would
easy.
believe it, my business partner Bridges. He's one of the first 100 employees for Zoom.
Hmm.
So when I have Zoom questions, I just call him because he's a expert at it. He trains
Expert.
everybody. Yeah, he trains governments, everybody how to use
He's a
it.
techie.
Hey.
And then he laughs at me when I can't figure it out. Like, hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I start with people like, hey, what tax bracket are you in? We all should want to be in the 10% tax bracket. We want our taxable income to be $23,000 or less as a married couple.
Hmm.
It was just about half that probably, but
Wow.
that should be our goal. $20,000. That's it. It's
Okay.
not 75,000 isn't bad because then if the government does something, you're still in line for the stimulus check. Even though you made gross to $100 million, you can still get a stimulus check like a lot of those guys did.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when I watch like videos online of people talking about money and tax strategies and all of that, you often see people in the middle class talking about tax deferred, tax deferred, tax deferred. I want a 401k, I want an IRA. I'm willing to pay the taxes later. And then you see wealthy people talking about how can I lower my income? How can I strategize to where I shift stuff to where it only looks like I earn, 10,000 a year, 15,000 a year, 20,000 a year versus the millions or whatever that they're actually earning, right?
Yeah.
And it's yeah, I think what you said earlier was so important that people just don't understand taxes well enough. They don't understand the hit that they're taking. It's the biggest hit that we're taking is taxes.
yeah,
So
that is truly our biggest expense
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
because we're taxed multiple times on the same dollar.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
You tax everything you buy is taxed. You save it and you make a gain, it's taxed. It's like wow.
Mm.
So yeah, that's why I'm a fan of the Roth IRA.
Mm.
Have a job, you don't have one, get one. Period.
Right.
Don't ask questions. Put $2 in it day one.
Mm.
People are like, why is that important? Because after 5 years, you can remove all of the principal out of that account tax free. You don't pay no taxes on it, and you don't get hit with no penalties for withdrawing the money.
Yeah.
So I did that trick before too, but I was dumb when I did it. Spent money, but hey, it worked. That's all I can.
It did what it's supposed to do. You might not have, but the strategy
That
did.
strategy worked. It's like, hey, the pre-tax money I shifted, value fell. So I
Mm.
shifted it to the Roth, paid the taxes on a lower amount. Doing a Roth gain, after 5 years, I pulled it out and spent it. Or The end part was the stupid part. Everything else was great. I'm actually listening to a new book now, and it explains that whole thing. What I did, it's
Mm.
the philosophy of money.
Yeah.
It's a book called Philosophy of Money. You got to read it. It's telltale.
Who wrote it?
Don't ask me. I just look at books.
What was I thinking?
And man, who wrote it, I got to read. I don't read. No, it's by Wow. The Psychology of Money. It's a good one.
By
Oh
who?
yeah, I've read it. I don't remember the author.
Yeah, that's a good one. I read a lot of books on money, just to try to.
Yeah. Oh, Morgan House. I have it right here. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan
Yeah.
Housel.
Oh, my background is blurry, so
That's
can't
it.
see it. Yeah.
Read it again. No.
There you go.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about that book was he talks about people lose their money when they are not paranoid about losing their money.
Hmm.
I'm like, I can see that.
Mhm.
So you got to have that fear at the same time. You got to have that knowledge to want to invest, but you got to have the fear at the same time. So when things go bad, you got to keep going, and that's kind of done to get in the position I'm in, not knowing it was part of the psychology of money.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got to have that emotional intelligence to know when your fear is good fear or when it's bad fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backtracking on, I want to backtrack a little bit because my fiance actually was talking about it this morning. You said even if you're putting $2 into a Roth, so I guess like based on your credit card purchases, like there are like automatic investment accounts like Acorns or something like that you
Mhm.
can like delegate like $1 or two into it, and it performs for each dollar that's spent, so it rounds up whatever purchase that you make. So
Right.
like by that and whatever the change is. So um at the end of the month it like gives you a graph of like how much you've invested for that month. How do you feel about those, utilizing like those automatic investments for those roundup opportunities? Like if you say $2, if it's 60 cents or whatever and it's just accumulating constantly, like it seems like a smart thing. And you don't necessarily, you're not worrying about it, like it's kind of like an unconscious thing that's just accumulating interest for you, and you don't even have to worry about it. Like if you don't really know about the stock market or what to invest in, but it's just doing it for you, like you think they're good to utilize for maybe not so financially literate individuals that want to deal with the stock market?
I would say it's better than nothing.
Okay.
That I would say, but at the same time, I would say have your system automated, but but you have to have control of it. And with those systems, you don't really have control because they're taking that extra money and putting it there. And I don't know if you get to pick the shares what you're buying or how it all works. I haven't done them, but like I said, I like automation, but you have control of automation. So
Okay.
to take that one step further, a lot of people have their car payments come out of their bank account automatically.
Right.
They have the lender taking the money from their bank account. They're not going to bill pay and making it paid. So
Right.
it's automatic, but they don't have control. So
Okay.
if they don't have enough money in the bank that week, when they want to take their payment, they're going to be overdrawn.
Right.
Instead of paying a late payment fee, now they got to pay an overdraft fee, late payment fee, and all other kinds of fees.
Mhm.
So it's about you. Now talks about us being in control too, but it's about us being in control of what we do. So,
Yeah.
so I don't hate Acorn or dislike it. I just don't understand it enough because I haven't done it. Because I was always the type of guy like, how does it work?
Hmm.
Start digging in how it works. I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, I don't think so, or yeah, it does work.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
I have a few clients that use it. They're happy with it. And like I said, as long as you're saving, and if you do use it in my system, you would go buy your groceries or whatever. There's a credit card, that's your necessity. Then that round up part, you got to go take that out of your retirement section of your spend.
Okay.
So just
Uh,
capture it. As long as you capture it, it's all good.
Mm.
Thank you. All right. You have any other questions, Gordon?
Yeah, I was going to ask Chris, what kinds of things? This is just a question that came up to me as you talking about like financial literacy and all of that. What kinds of things, I guess, caused you to say, I need to learn about money. I need to, make some changes and really educate myself? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of your education is just self-taught, right?
Yes. Uh, what made me want to learn about money? Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because I was always showing off and never had no money. I don't know. So I had a $5,000 car with a $13,000 stereo. So I don't know what made me. Well, actually, I'm gonna tell you what it really was. I started working for Exxon, which is at the time was the number one company in the world, and getting around a group of people that had a different mindset. They
Mm,
talked to me about retirement. Up in that point, you hear about retirement, but you don't know unless you were joining the military. That's the only way you're going to retire. Remember, I'm a military brat, so I didn't go the route of the military. And then my first job, I don't think I don't think they were paying me what I was worth. So I laughed and got it with Exxon. It's like, when you get around a different mindset of people and you're the minority as far as that mindset, not as far as a person, even though I was both, you
mm,
start thinking differently. That's when I got into stocks was in the 90s, like mid 90s, the first time I really got serious in 2005.
mm,
Okay.
Then I quadrupled my savings from 2005 to 2022
mm.
just by educating myself and learning how things work.
Awesome.
Nice.
And it can be achieved.
Yeah, I think what you said regarding surrounding yourself with the right kind of people is huge because that's
Mm.
going to happen whether we're aware of it or not, right? The type of people we're surrounding ourselves with is going to affect the kind of life we have, the mindset, our perspective, what we know and what we don't know because, if we're hanging around people that say for example people that are all about sports and baseball and football and they're following every season as it goes and they're rooting for their team, chances are you're going to know a lot about that because that's what you're around, right? I'm not saying bad or good, right? That's beside the point. If you hang around people that are physical fitness type people that are either going to the gym every day, hiking, biking, all of this stuff, chances are you're going to be right there with them. You're going to be hiking and biking and all of that, going to the gym. And whether you realize it or not, somebody asks a question about, a certain exercise machine, you're probably gonna be like, boom, yeah, I know about it. It's the P3050 and it does this and it does that, and you get it from this website or that, and you're gonna be just knowledgeable. And
Right.
if you hang around people that are thinking like, how can I make my money work for me? What's my retirement gonna be looking like? Like how many people in their 20s do you hear talking about retirement, right? You don't hear that, right? And so it would be pretty
Mhm.
extraordinary to have a circle of friends even in your 30s, 20s and 30s that are thinking like that. It would be very different, right? And so the circle of people you surround yourself with makes a huge impact on your perspective, the things that you're doing, those daily habits and all of that. So I think that's super important
Right.
personally.
And us being the not in the 20s anymore, it's how do we make that connection to our old selves and be able to communicate to the new kids about, hey, I wish I would have, but we can't say that. So I feel like I'm disconnected. So now I try to talk through my kids to the next
Mhm.
generation. Because now since they understand, uh, they come back to me, they're giving people financial advice, and I'm looking at their bank account, like, okay. But they have the knowledge, so I'm not mad at them for trying to teach all their friends, they I said, and that's where it starts because when you start teaching, you actually start learning more.
Mhm.
Mhm.
put
Yep.
more things into practice. But yeah, it's like,
Right.
man, oh, trust me, I used to get mad at my kid. Yeah, I told so and so he need to put this much money away and do this and do that. And I'm looking at him like, you're not even doing it. Why are you telling everybody else? But they know, that's what's surprising to me. Like they really know. It's just like you're just making me mad by not doing it. Whatever. But let's keep it moving, keep doing what you do.
Yeah.
But the information is there, right? And at some point, they'll pull the trigger, make the decision, and start practicing what they preach.
Exactly. And that's all we can do. We just like you guys are doing, keep educating on it. That's a whole nother field, insurance, that I'm not very well versed in, but I got people like Gordon, in my corner that I can go ask questions to, that I owe information to, who's probably gonna call me after this call and yeah, so, and you just continue to surround yourself with positive people that are trying to help other people do positive things with their financial outcome, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when people don't do right, you can just say, oh, well, say a prayer for them, and you can't help them. It's
Yeah, that's true. You can only control what you do. You can't control what others do.
Yep. And in
Fair.
business, that's hard.
What's that?
In business, that's a hard pill to swallow.
On business. Yeah.
Kind of people, you see them make a bad decision, you're like, do I just cut them off completely, or can I still be their friend? I don't know, because for lack of better words, you're now my stupid box. No. Can't talk to me now. But
you can love people from a distance.
right, exactly. I love you, I pray for you, but God, you're stupid. No. I don't have any of those friends. Anybody might see this video. Yeah.
I don't know. We're putting it everywhere. The video.
No.
Yeah, I can blur your face on the video if you want.
Change
your voice. Yeah. Distort your voice and blur your face, and that way nobody will know.
The name has been changed to protect the foolish. No.
We'll change the name to Poindexter Milescraft. I don't know, some crazy thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Ashcroft, Jamerson Ashcroft. I like
there you go. Okay, that works. It sounds important, right?
Right. Or like the name we used to use at work, Stu.
Stu
Pedasso.
Now
say it fast.
Is that an Italian name?
Just say it. So that was a joke. We used to call the other platform. Yeah, I'm looking for Stu. But he goes by,
what's his last name?
Pedasso. So you say it, and they page him. Go ahead, fast.
Page for stupid.
I love it.
You got a call on line 3.
Now, a joke. Have you met my friend Stu?
Right.
I actually call him Stuart Pedasso. He goes by Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that old joke of Benjamin Dover.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bend over.
But he goes by Ben. Bend over. Yeah. Bend over. Like, what?
Oh, that's funny.
I digress once again. See, that's me.
That's
all right. Ruby, do you have any more questions? We're a little over time, but
that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about like communication when it comes to money and everything. I guess my last question would be like, why do you think money is still such a difficult topic to have a conversation about?
That one is a difficult one to answer, and you hear it a lot of times by a lot of financial educators, that people are willing to talk more about their sex life than they are about their money. And
yeah.
You laugh. That is a fact. You can go up to a group of people and start talking about sex, and they all will chime in. Go up to a group of people, start talking about money.
Everybody runs.
Right. And it's like,
that's crazy.
Why is that? It's I guess the embarrassment for the lack of having or the lack of the knowledge. But
Mm.
what we don't understand is 99% of us don't have that knowledge. So
Mm.
it's embarrassing. No, it's like when a teacher calls on you in school, I guess, and you don't have the answer, you don't want to say anything, or you have an answer, and you don't know if it's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get past the part of the embarrassment of being right or wrong, then we can have those conversations.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
It's
it,
intimidating, yes, talking about
Yeah.
money.
Well, at the end of the day, going back to the sex and money, you can lie about your sex as long as they never meet the other person.
Mhm.
True. But if you open up your bank account, we know you're lying. Maybe it's too easy to prove, like, yeah, I got all this money. Show me your wallet.
Mhm.
I got no money. Maybe it's too easy to prove. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
um,
Too much attachment to money.
mhm,
Too.
very much so. And based on the fact that, we're not taught it in school, we have to go out like you did personally and take the time to read the books and listen to podcasts and surround ourselves with people who know.
Yeah.
And, when we don't know, it's like we feel stupid. But really, when you find people, like, they're so much more willing and happy to help, you get a better understanding. It's just you have to get past that fear of asking,
Mm.
that saying that you don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Podcast. There was no podcast in my day. There was newspapers and seminars.
Mm.
we could go old school.
We have computers. No. We had cups and strings like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
But that is so true. We have to educate ourselves and we have to make that effort. And it's
Mhm.
not the effort to show off. And that's what a lot of it comes down to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To show off to people that don't know us and don't care about us.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we do it.
Yeah. Sad. Well, I think I have one last question for you, before we let you go. What's the best financial advice that you've ever received?
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, actually, just what you said not too long ago. Actually, it was by a guy here in Oceanside. He said, "Don't be afraid to ask questions." About
Mm.
He was my first financial mentor. He said, "If you don't know, just let me know, and don't be afraid to ask questions." Because a lot of people say there's no stupid questions. He says there's no stupid question, but there is stupid results.
Mhm.
You ask that question before we get to stupid results.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Wow.
got to ask that question.
Yeah.
Ask-
Don't know what you don't know, and you'll never know if you don't ask.
And the thing is, if you don't ask, you won't know what the follow-up questions are.
Mm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Follow-up questions, and that's the part we miss out on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you know, but you don't know what you don't know.
Mm.
Right.
You can't implement what you don't know.
Right.
Right.
And that's how I like to tell people. So what my information may not be the only information, but I do know it works 100% of the time. I
Mm.
have a failure if you follow my steps.
Right.
And
Awesome.
not steps that I created, it's the steps that I've taken and massage from different people and put it into a system that
You
works.
practice. Mm.
Practice what you preach.
Yep.
Awesome.
A little more I can waste too, so that don't count.
Mm.
Don't be like me. No. Be better than me. Don't be like me.
Right.
Right. Awesome. Well, no, Gordon, you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much, Chris, for spending this hour, little over an hour with us and sharing your knowledge. It's greatly appreciated.
Hey, no
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time. It was an It was very fun.
Yeah.
A lot of laughs shared, a lot of laughs in this episode. We love laughing. So thank you so much for your energy. Thank you so much for the information. You know, if potentially people see that, you know, they need assistance with budgeting, maybe we can get together with you and see how you devise plans for them so that maybe we can help them in particular ways. So yeah, hopefully we can start opening, you know, changing people's minds and, you know, getting them on that plan so that they can achieve that financial freedom that they're looking for.
Yep, offline, Gordon can share my contact information with you guys, but you know, and I'll be there. Hey, just call me, let me know. If I don't answer, I'll tell you I'll call you back and we'll go from there. But yeah, definitely love to help. Love what you guys are doing. Appreciate
Awesome.
the invite to get some of my weird, quirky ways of making it work.
We loved it. We loved it.
Right.
That's all. We will be back Thursday, April 11th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I believe. But if there's an update, we will let you know. Until we see all of you guys again, we do want to say we wish you wealth, take care, and we'll see you soon. Aloha.
Thank you.